We have kept our SQLite database in Google Drive and mounted the drive to our Colab platform, and then in the next code block we have created the connection string using SQLKME. Now all this how to do it you can see in our part 1 of our video. We have already how to mount a drive and how to connect it, and with some sample tables and datas we have explained it. Now let us try with our some SQL select queries. To get we will be use these queries to collect some records from our student table. Now here let us first start with our select. We'll give specific column names: id, name, class, mark, 6 from student. Student is our table name. Here we'll give that, let us create a cursor. My cursor is equal to my connection that execute. We are executing the here the variable q, and variable q holds the query. Now from the cursor we'll loop through each row and print the same. So we'll go for the row in my cursor colon. So now let's print the row. This will print data from our student table. Yeah, there are something around say 43 students are there, 35 students are there, all detailed list is available. Now let us slightly modify this code. Control C, we have just copied it. Let's one more code block we are using. Now let's use this here. We'll use a where clause now. Student where class is equal, let's say 4. We want only from a particular class. Let's see how it works. Yeah, we can see that all the students of a particular class 4 is displayed. Fine, let's move beyond now. One more. Now we'll learn fetch all, because we'll get a list out of this data. Now let us copy this, paste it here. Now we'll, instead of executing this, after executing, get a list now. Now our, let's say, data rows is equal to my cursor fetch all. Now this is a data rows is a list now for us. So all the methods of list we can apply to this and get the data. Say we want to know how many records are there, so that also we can get it. Now let's say print. We can check it by using type also. Type data row. Let us remove this part. Fine. Now it will tell us that it is a list now. Fine. Now let's say how many records are there. We can say, now we can use the len function and data row. So this will tell us the number of records. I am just formatting it, a bit of message adding to it. Now say number of records is 9, because we are used a where clause and restricted it. Suppose if I remove this, now the entire table, all the records it will count and say 35 records are there. Again let me paste this. Fine. Now again it is 9 record. Now we have seen fetch all. Now let us use one more method. There is a, we'll copy this, add one more code block here, paste it here. Instead of fetching so many, suppose we want a particular record. So let's say where id is equal to 8. We don't want so many records, by particular record we want. We can use my cursor here. We can say fetch 1. Fetch 1. Now it is we'll get the record. So data type print number of record. We know we'll get 1 only. Now up to this, let's print now. Let's see what data type we get. Fine, it's a SQL engine details we are getting. Now we'll print it now. So what happened now, let's say print now data row, we want the first one is id, let's say 0. Now next is data row, next is our name, so we'll say that 1. Fine. Now let's say we'll print the id and name only. You can say here it is. Now let me comment this part. Fine. id we have got it. Okay, because we have searched here the id, the same id should reflect. Now we can go one more. We can say data row, let's say how much mark it is, name, class, mark is 3. So let's see how much mark is there in that row. So we are getting all details of a particular record here. Now let us slightly modify it again. We'll come back to here. This one, let us add here one more code block. Instead of any condition, let us say that we want some 10 records only starting from first record. So we'll use a limit 0, 10. Sorry, this should be comma, not 0, 10. Now this will return us 10 records. Fine, let us print it also. For row in data row, print row. So we'll print it. Let's see how this works. You can see number of records is 10 and the first 10 records are displayed. So because we have used a limit query here. Now we'll move, next tutorial we'll move, we'll see how we'll update, how we'll delete, how we'll change the data and join the tables also.